Hi guys, today we're going to look at solving equations that contain fractions, and our goal is to get rid of the fractions in the first step. All right, and we do this by multiplying each term by the LCM of the denominators, and that way your equation remains balanced. So I'll show you how to do this. So in the example 1, we have one fraction, 2/3, so we only have one denominator. So the least common multiple of 3 is just 3. That means we're going to multiply every term by 3. Remember, terms are separated by plus and minus signs, so there are 4 terms here. Your equation is balanced. The multiplication property of equality says if you multiply every single term of an equation by the same number, then you haven't really changed the equation. And this only works if there's an equal sign. Okay, if it's an expression, you can't do this. So in the first term, 3 times 1 is 3. In the second term, the 3 that we're multiplying by and the 3 in the denominator will cancel each other because it's like you're multiplying 2/3 times 3 over 1, and these cancel. So I end up with just minus 2x equals, and then multiply by 3, 33 minus 18x. And so again, in the first step, we have cleared out any fractions. We don't want to deal with fractions if we can avoid it. Okay, we don't want to have to get common denominators and then divide by a fraction, etc., etc. And now you just solve like normal. So you would gather your x's on one side. I'm going to add 18x and gather your numbers on the other. So I have 16x equals 30. Remember, you're going to have to get used to getting fractional answers. Just divide by 16. Our answer is x equals 30 over 16, which simplifies. They're both divisible by 2, 15 over 8. And that's your answer. Okay, no calculator, no decimal. We go on to another example where now we have more than one fraction. So you have to look at your denominators and say, okay, I have a 4 and a 5. What's the least common multiple of 4 and 5? Like what number, what's the smallest number that they both go into? 20. So I'm going to multiply every term by 20. This one by 20, 20 times 20 times 20. I can only do that in an equation, equal sign. So the 20 is going to be divided by 4. These divide. 20 divided by 4 is 5. And the 5 multiplies by the 3a, giving us 15a. So it's kind of like if you were doing it on the side, 20 times 3/4 a. The 20 is over 1. 20 divided by 4 is 5, and you get 15a. You don't have to do this side work. I'm just showing you why we're dividing. If you just have a number, you just multiply. 20 times 2, you're going to have negative 40. Bring down your equal sign. Divide by the denominator. 20 divided by 5 is 4. And now multiply by the numerator. 4 times 2a is 8a. And then 3 times 20 is 60. Okay, fractions are cleared out in the first step. So now I'm going to gather terms. Minus 8a. Add 40 to both sides. I have 7a equals 100. Divide by 7. This one cannot be simplified any further. I just leave it 100 over 7. Okay. So now you should try this one on your own. See if you can do this one on your own. Pause the video. Think of what your LCM would be if you have 3 terms here, 8, 4, and 3. Your LCM would be 24. So you're going to multiply each term by 24. Okay. The first term is going to give us 24x. I'm going to divide. 24 divided by 8 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Divide. 24 by 4 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18x. Divide. 24 by 3 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. And then just multiply. I'm going to get 5 times 4 is 20. 120x. Okay, and then again, fractions should be gone in the first step. So I'm going to combine like terms. I have 24 and 18 is going to give me 34, 44, 46x, right? 30, 42x, 42x. Okay, and then plus 15 equals 16 plus 120x. I'm going to subtract 42x on both sides. 15 equals 16, and we have plus 78x. I'm going to subtract 16. I have negative 1 equals 78x. Divide both sides by 78, and your fraction, be careful, you're dividing by a bigger number, is negative 1/78. Okay, the next one we're going to look at has fractions that have numerators that have two terms. So with these, you have to remember that there are invisible parentheses around the numerators. Your LCM, the least common multiple of 4 and 6, would be 12. So I'm going to multiply this term by 12, this term by 12, this term by 12, and this term by 12. The big fractions are just one big term. Okay, so 12 times 5 is going to be 60, plus 4 divides into 12 3 times. That 3 is going to distribute into 3m plus 1. Bring down your equal sign. 2 times 12 is 24. 6 is going to divide into 12 2 times. Be really careful. This 2 is negative 2. So minus 2 distributes into 3 minus 2m. Okay, try not to distribute in your head. Try to write it out to avoid mistakes, particularly with the negative. So we have 60 plus 9m plus 3 equals 24 minus 6 plus 4m, because remember it's a negative times a negative. Combining like terms, I have 63 plus 9m equals 24 minus 6 is going to give us 18 plus 4m. And then we're going to subtract 4m on both sides. And I will simultaneously move the 63 over. So we have 5m equals negative 45. Divide both sides by 5. M equals negative 9. That went in nice and evenly. Okay, last one is if we have a fraction outside of parentheses. If you have a fraction outside of parentheses, still going to follow similar steps. First of all, we have multiple denominators, so we have to look at 3 and 5. Our LCM will be 15. Again, if you just have one fraction, then your LCM is just the denominator of that one fraction. But if you have two fractions, it's the least common multiple of both of those. So I'm going to multiply each term by 15. When you have parentheses, this is all considered to be one term. So I'm going to multiply once by 15 here, and once here. So the 3 divides into the 15 5 times. That 5 multiplies with the 2, 10, and I copy the parentheses the way they are. Okay, that's how you handle if you have a fraction outside of parentheses. Bring down the equal sign. 5 goes into 15 3 times. 3 times 3x is 9x. And then we're going to multiply 15 times 12, which is going to give us 180. So now I'll distribute 10x minus 80 equals 9x plus 180. So the goal is to distribute without a fraction, right? Because that's so much easier and less mistakes occur. So subtract 9x, and we will also add 80. So we have x equals 260. Okay, so use this to help you with homework tonight. Have a wonderful weekend, guys.